Hi everyone, this is Professor Veerappa Chikkagoda from Cambridge Institute of Technology. In this video, we are going to understand the timers under the module 4 under VTU syllabus. So we are going to understand the timers and the serial data communication. So let us see first the timers, 8051 timers. In that, we need to understand the TMOD and TCON register. So under the module 4, 8051 timers and the serial port, the following are the objectives or the content we need to understand. So the objectives of this particular module are to understand 8051 timers and counter operations, assembly language programming to generate a pulse using mode 1 and a square wave using mode 2 on port pin. 8051 serial communication, basics of serial data communication, RS-32 standard, 9-pin RS-32 signals, then simple serial port programming in assembly, and C to transmit a message and to receive data serially. So these are the objectives of module 4 under 8051 timers and serial port. So first objective is we need to understand the 8051 timers and counters and their operations. Once if we are thorough with the timers and counter operation, then we can able to write assembly language programming to generate the pulse or a square wave using a different mode of operation. Then you are going to understand serial communication, the basics of serial data communication. So how exactly we are going to send the information either serially or parallel, and what are the standards we need to use, what are the ICs, circuitries we need to use in order to achieve a serial data communication. In that, RS-32 is one standard we are going to use. Once if we understand the basics of serial data communication, then we can able to write program, assembly program or the C code to transmit a message and to receive a data serially. So these are the objectives of module 4, 8051 timers and the serial port. So let us see with 8051 timers. Under 8051 timers, we have three major applications of this timer. That is, it can be used as a timer, that is to generate a delay, a counter to have an event of counts, and a baud generator to have a particular bit means the rate at which you are going to transmit the information. So these things can be achieved by knowing the timers. So timers always count up irrespective of whether it is used as a timer, counter, or the baud generator. This is very important. Always it will increment the value which is stored in the register. The time taken to count one digit up is based on the master clock frequency. So whenever a timer is started, so it is going to count always up. So in that case, one digit up requires the time taken by a timer. That timer period depends on the master clock frequency. So it is important to know the timer period. So let us take one example and let us understand how we are going to calculate the time period, or what is the time required for one digit up. So let us see if a master clock frequency is 12 megahertz. So the timer clock frequency will be 1/12 of master clock frequency. Always we need to take 1/12 of the master clock. So we get 1 megahertz as a timer clock frequency. If we take the reciprocal of this clock frequency, we are going to get a timer clock period of 1 microsecond. So this indicates one digit up requires 1 microsecond with this clock frequency. So this is what we need to understand from this. So one increment in count will take 1 microsecond. So if you understand this concept, it is very easy for us to write the delay program. For example, if you want to generate a 5 millisecond of delay, so how many counts we required with a particular time period. So if you know that, we can calculate the delay. So in that case, we can write assembly code for generating a pulse or a square wave. So let us concentrate on the timers. How many timers are there in our 8051 IC? So in 8051, we have two timers, that is timer 0 and timer 1 we call. Both the registers are 16-bit wide. Both the registers are 16-bit wide. So here we need to understand our 8051 architecture is a 8-bit architecture. So we can't use 16-bit registers or the 16-bit timers as a whole. So we know that all the means registers, whatever you are using, it is a 8-bit register. So if you want to access a timers, so we need to divide the registers, and that means the timer 0 registers or timer 1 registers into a low byte and high byte. So this is a structure of a timer 0 register. So it is split into 2 bytes, TL0 and TH0. TL0 stands for timer 0 low byte. TH0 stands for timer high byte, timer 0 high byte. So like this we can use TL0 is a 8-bit register, TH0 is a 8-bit register. So timer 0 register can be used as two 8-bit registers. This we need to understand. So similarly, timer 1 register, again it is a 16-bit register split into 2 bytes referred to as a low byte and high byte of the timer 1. These registers are accessible in the same way as the register of timer 0. Okay, so this is a structure of the timer 1 register. Again, it is a 16-bit register divided into a 2 bytes, that is TL1 and TH1. TL1 stands for timer 1 low byte, TH1 stands for timer 1 high byte. Like this, we are going to have two timers, timer 0 and timer 1. Both the registers are divided into 8-bit registers. So we'll be having TL0, TH0, TL1 and TH1. These registers are controlled, or these timers can be controlled only when you are going to configure, means when you configure the TMOD and the TCON registers. TMOD stands for the timer mode, TCON stands for the timer control registers. So both the registers, we call them as a special function registers. They are used to control the timers. So let us see these, if you are having the registers, so how we can access these registers, that is very important. So once if you know that TL0, TH0 are both 8-bit registers, how you can access them? So those can be accessed like your normal registers, okay, whatever registers you will be using for manipulation and all, that is A, B, R0, R1 and R2, etc. So for example, if you want to load something into a register, means timer register, timer 0 low byte can be loaded with any value. So here one example they have shown, that is move TL0, #2FH. So the value 2FH is loaded into a TL0. So the value means here we are writing into a register. Similarly, we can read the register also. So here, for example, move R5, TH0. Means the TH value is loaded into R5. That is, you are reading the content of TH0. So this is how we can access these timer registers. So this you need to understand, which means before writing assembly code, we need to know how we can access the registers. That is very important. So let us now understand the timer mode control register. This is very important in order to choose which timer you want to use in your assembly code and which mode of operation we need to perform. That is very important. So understanding the TMOD register is very important. So TMOD register is an 8-bit register. Both the timer 0, 1 and use the same register called the TMOD to set the various timer operation modes. The lower 4 bits are set aside for the timer 0 and the upper 4 bits for the timer 1. This is very important. So whenever you are configuring, either you are using timer 0 or timer 1, you need to understand. Accordingly, we need to use a lower 4 bits and higher 4 bits. So if you see in this structure of your TMOD register, it is a 8-bit register. From 0 to 7 LSB to MSB bits. So if you see 0, 1, 2, 3 stands for lower 4 bits, they are meant for timer 0. So if you are using timer 0, means you are not using timer 1. So higher 4 bits should be made 0, and we need to configure only the 4 lower bits. So in that, we need to understand each fields in this. So in this, we have M0, M1, C/T bar, and gate. So M1 and M0 bits indicate the mode of operation. C/T bar indicates either a timer is used as a timer or a counter. Gate is very important. That is going to tell you whether you are going to control these timers through a software or a hardware. That we need to understand. So right now, all of you should remember this TMOD register structure and the individual bits, so that it will going to help you in using a timer 0 or timer 1 and which mode of operation. So let us see the individual bits functionality or the description of the individual bits, so that it will be easy for you to configure this TMOD register. So here let us see gate and C/T bar field in the TMOD register. Gate 8051 timers have both software and hardware controls. So here, if you want to start the timer and stop the timer, we are going to use set bit TR1, clear bit TR1 for the timer 1 means to start and stop. Set bit TR0 indicates start the timer 0. CLR TR0 indicates stop the timer 0. So these particular instruction we use in assembly coding. Those things are going to control our timer whether to start or stop. So these things can be done only when your gate value is 0. Means in TMOD register, if you put gate as 0, so that you can use these instructions to control the timers in order to start and stop. Similarly, timers can be started and stopped by the external source by making gate equal to 1 in the TMOD register. Means externally means through hardware. If you are going to control the start and stop of the timer, then a gate bit should be made 1. Otherwise, gate should be 0, so that through software means by writing a instruction itself, we can start and stop. So this is about the gate. So if gate is 0, you can control through software. Okay, if gate is 1, you can control the timers through hardware controls. That we need to understand. So let us see about the C/T bar clock or timer. This bit in the TMOD register is used to decide whether a timer is used as a delay generator or an event counter. Very simple, C/T bar. T bar is actual low, so if you put C/T bar equal to 0, it is used as a timer for the delay generation. If it is 1, it is used for the counter. That is the information about the gate and the C/T bar. So now coming to M1 and M0. So if we are having the 2 bits M1 and M0 with 4 combinations, we can have 4 mode of operations. But we are interested in mode 1 and mode 2. So suppose if M1 M0 is 0 0 in the TMOD register, we call it as a mode 0. That is 13-bit timer mode we call. If M1 M0 is 0 1, that indicates mode 1 operation. Mode 1 operation, we have 16-bit timer mode we call. This is very important. 16-bit timer mode in the sense timer, whichever the timer you are using, both the registers you can use. That is TLX, THX, they have indicated. X may be here either 0 or 1. TL0, TH0 indicates timer 0, both the registers you are using. If you're using both the register, then it becomes 16-bit timer mode. So 16-bit values you can load and you can achieve the counts. That is about the mode 1 operation. If you want to use mode 2, then the M1, M0 bit should be 1, 0. Then we call it as a mode 2. This mode 2 is called as a 8-bit auto reload mode we call. 8-bit auto reload mode means in this case, we initialize the values or the values to be put into a TH register only. Means either TH0 or TH1 for timer 0 and timer 1, and that value will be copied into TL. TL actually it will increment the values. So here you need to understand here it is auto reload. One we complete one timer means one step of counting initial to a maximum value. Automatically the initial value what you have loaded into a TH will be reloaded again once it means overflows. So those things we'll see later. Right now what we need to understand is if M1 M0 bit in TMOD register, if it is a 1 0, we call it as a mode 2. Mode 2 is a auto reload mode we call, that is a 8-bit. Here in this case we use only 8-bit. If M1 M0 both are 1 1, we call it is mode 3, that we call it is a split mode, split timer mode we call it. So this is about TMOD register. I think all of you understood the structure. This plays very important role when you are writing assembly code for timer 0 or timer 1 for mode either 1 or 2. Normally we use mode 1 and mode 2. So in that case, what value we need to calculate in order to operate the timer in mode 1 timer 0, mode 2 timer 1, mode 0 timer 1, like that. So in that case you should able to configure the TMOD register. That is the one thing. So next is TCON register, timer control register. This timer control register is again a 8-bit register. The upper 4 bits are used to store the TF and TR bits of both timer 0 and timer 1. The lower 4 bits are set aside for controlling the interrupt bits. The TR0, TR1 flags are used to turn on or turn off the timers. So these particular bits of TCON registers, if you set the timer will start. If you reset, timer will stop. So that we need to understand. So if you look into the TCON register structure, so it is an 8-bit register. Lower 4 bits are meant for the interrupts, higher 4 bits are meant for the timer. So if you look into the fourth bit here, TR0, this TR0 is for the timer 0. If you set this bit, timer 0 starts. When it starts, it will start from the initial value and it reaches a maximum. Since timer 0, if it reaches a maximum value, so in that case, a TF0 bit by the microcontroller will be set when overflow occurs, that indicating a rollover of your accounts. So TF0 is a timer flag or overflow flag we call. This is a timer 0 start or stop bit. So if you set this, timer starts. If you clear it, the timer stops for timer 0. These are used for timer 0. Similarly, these 2 bits are used for the timer 1. TR1 is meant for starting and stopping of the timer 1. TR1, if you set, timer 1 starts. If you clear this, it will stop. So when you want to start and stop, you can refer the TF1. Normally, we used to monitor the TF1. So when timer starts, TF1 will be monitored. So when it becomes 1, that indicates timer is overflowed, means it is means reached a limit. So these things we need to understand with respect to the timer. So in this video, we have understood how many timers are there. In 8051, 2 timers are there. Timer 0 register, timer 1 register. Both are split into 2 byte registers, TL0 TL0 and TH0 for the timer 0, TL1, TH1 for the timer 1. These 2 timers can be controlled using special function registers, SFRs, TMOD and TCON. So if you understand TMOD and TCON, then we can able to write assembly language programming. So this, if you understand, then you can able to write the assembly language program. In the next video, I'll teach you how to write assembly language program for mode 1 or mode 2. Thank you.